Hello everyone, welcome to MVP Vishwakosha. Today we are discussing 1st August 2025 current affairs. In that first point, that is about tariff announced by US President Donald Trump, focusing on the latest development, that is August 1st tariff announcement. Okay, Trump actually signed an executive order introducing sweeping new US import tariff, okay, ranging from 10 to 41%. Okay, that is basically on maximum 60 plus countries. Okay, these tariffs will take effect on August 7, giving importers a short transition window. And also a baseline tariff floor of 10 to 15% was set with higher rates up to 50% for countries lacking bilateral trade deals. And also, right, India faces a 25% tariff on export alongside penalties linked to its Russian energy purchases. And also, Canada's tariff was raised from 25% to 35%, and also excluding imports covered under USMCA. And also, Switzerland faces a 39% tariff, surprising many given its neutral status and deep trade ties with US. Then also, it will faces a 39% tariff, that is Switzerland. Other countries hit with the elevated duties include Taiwan 20%, South Africa 30%, Laos and Myanmar 40%, Brazil up to 50%, and European partners settling at 15%. Okay, very important. Right, in previous in April 2025, Trump first wave of reciprocal tariff took effect after his Liberation Day proclamation. A court later ruled those tariffs exceed his executive authority. And also, Trump issued a new executive order announcing update tariff schedule on July 31st, 2025. And August 1st, 2025, a tariff formally declared to start being paid with no extension. And also, effective start of new tariff regime for most countries and shipment loaded by the date of inbound by October 5 are exempt. Okay. And also some economic and market impact because of this. There will be market reaction in US stock indices and also in Indian stock market. And also expert views, also analytics caution that long-term protectionism could raise inflation and all. Okay, and also trade strategy is very important. And also, for exam perspective, that difference between that executive and legislative authority in US, and also the trade policy and diplomacy, and also economic impact, that short-term revenue gains versus inflation risk, and also supply chain risk, and also higher consumer cost, and also global governance and retaliation. Okay, that is about recent Trump's tariff policy. Next is about India's recent Ramsar COP15 resolution on wetland. Okay, that is adopted in Zimbabwe. Okay, India's groundbreaking resolution promoting sustainable lifestyle for the wise use of wetland was officially adopted at COP15 held at Victoria Falls, that is Zimbabwe. Okay, from July 23 to 31, 2025, supported by 172 contracting parties and 6 international organization partners, and the resolution marks India's first globally backed proposal in Ramsar history. And also, some of the core objective in the resolution is integration of sustainable lifestyle into wetland conservation strategies, seeking behavioral change at individual and societal levels, and also to preserve wetland ecosystem, and also in a policy alignment and CEPA, that is CEPA means communication, education and participation and awareness based on Ramsar resolution, and also linked with UN Environment Assembly resolution on sustainable lifestyle, and also whole of society approach, that is participation of government, communities, NGO, academia and private sector in the conservation action, and also education and awareness also, and also global synergy that builds on India's mission lifestyle. Okay, and also supports implementation sustainable goals related to water, that is sustainable development 6 and responsible consumption 12, and 13 is important, and 15 and 17, all these sustainable development goals related to that resolution. And also some of the India's achievement at COP 15. India is now having 91 Ramsar sites. Okay, that is almost 1.36 million hectare, making it Asia's largest network and third largest globally, expanded by 250% over the past decade, and also 68,000 plus small wetland restored across India within a year through community mobilization and GIS mapping technologies under national schemes. And also India's leadership highlighted at COP15, showcasing its conservation model backed by grassroots engagement policy framework and community participation. Okay, very important in the environment and ecology perspective. This COP15, okay, held in Zimbabwe, and India's resolution. Next point, that is about news about Jammu Kashmir. That is update about that hydroelectric project on the chenabriver, that is in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, that is international competitive bidding floated by NHPC on July, okay, in 29th, 2025, more than 40 years after initial conception, signaling is a significant policy shift. Okay, you know, right, in April 2025, India officially suspended the 1960 Indus Water Treaty following the Pahalgam terror attack, and also attributed to Pakistan halting treaty obligation like prior notification and water sharing protocols. And also there is strategic move opened the pathway to develop hydro project on western rivers, including the Chenab, okay, previously constrained under Indus Water Treaty. Okay, you know that six rivers and their water sharing, so you should know. Okay, and also the main thing in that Chenab hydropower project, that is the main thing, Savalkot hydroelectric project, that is in Chenab river, that is Ramban district. Okay, that is what recently that international competitive bidding floated. Okay, there is actually 1856 megawatt run of the river scheme, designed to be the largest hydroelectric plant in Jammu Kashmir and among the biggest in North India. Okay, very important. And also another project in that same Kiru hydroelectric project, the Kishtwar district, and also another Ratal hydroelectric project plant in Kishtwar district, and also Pakaldul Dam, okay, and that is also on Chenab tributary. Very important. There is also 1000 megawatt. Okay, strategically very important. That is energy and development perspective, and also geopolitics and water sovereignty. In that perspective, it is very important. That is about recent development on Chenab River, Jammu and Kashmir. Next is recent, that is in history part. That is about Buddhism. In that piprahwarelics of Lord Buddha. Okay, Lord Buddha, that is a return of that one after 127 years. Okay, that is actually what happened is that piprahwarelics believed to include a bone fragment of Lord Buddha, and over 300 precious gems and ornaments were excavated in 1898 by British engineer William Claxton Pepe. Okay, at the ancient stupa site in Piprahwa, that is in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, identified in ancient Kapila Vastu. Okay, identified as. And also, while most relics were handed over to the Indian Museum or distributed to the King of Siam, that is Thailand King. Okay, and also fifth portion duplication remained in private possession of Pepe's descendant, which recently surfaced for auction. Okay, at Hong Kong. Okay, and also India's Ministry of Culture, backed by diplomatic channels and Buddhist community mobilization, issued a legal notice in May 2025 citing India's laws, that is Antiquities and Art Treasure Act 1972, Ancient Monuments Act 1958, Indian Treasure Trove Act 1878. Okay, all that you should know about that act. And also following global protest from Buddhist scholars and religion leaders. Also Prime Minister Narendra Modi also celebrated the event. Okay, that about as a joyous day for our cultural heritage. Okay, very important. And also relics were formally brought to India by this July 30, 31. Okay, and a ceremony was seen by government and Buddhist leaders and housed by National Museum, New Delhi, pending final enshrinement as a significant Buddhist site. Okay, historically very important that Piprahwa Stupa discovery is one of the most significant Buddhist archaeological finds with an inscription in Brahmi script linking to the relics of the Sakya clan. Okay, relatives of Buddha, reinforcing Piprahwa's identification as Kapila Vastu. Okay, and also legally and ethically issues, that is India urged under the national law and norms, that is example UNESCO Convention on Cultural Property, that the relics are inalienable heritage, not personal property. The moral ethic basis played a critical role, especially given weak legal claims for material initially in private hands. And also cultural diplomacy and heritage repatriation, that is use of diplomatic pressure, public private partnership and all. Okay. And also governance and stakeholder actions and policy and heritage management is very important. Okay, that is about recent development about piprahwa relics of Buddha. Next point, that is a recent letter sent by US President Donald Trump to pharmaceutical companies. Okay, detailing that is President Trump issued personalized public letter to CEOs of 17 major pharmaceutical companies. Okay, and also demanding that they reduce the drug price in the US within 60 days or face unspecified consequence. The letter that May 12 reiterated May 12 executive order delivering most favored nation prescription drug pricing to American patient, directing companies to align US prices with the lowest price paid in OECD countries with at least 60% of US per capita GDP. Some key demands included extended most favored nations pricing to medical and new drugs launched in US market, enable direct to consumer drug sale at MFN, that is most favored nation pricing, to bypass intermediaries and also return excess revenue and abroad back to American patient and taxpayers. Okay, because of this, there are some market effects and Indian perspective also very important. Okay, and also that policy and governance and economy and healthcare implication and global trade and India and political economy and power dynamics is very important. Okay, that is about a recent letter to that pharmaceutical companies. Okay. Next, recent news that is about Supreme Court ruling recognition of fundamental rights to safe and motorable roads under Article 21 of the Constitution of India. It is the Supreme Court of India held in Umri Pratapur Tollways Private Limited versus Madhya Pradesh Road Development Corporation that the right to safe, well-maintained motorable roads is an essential facet of the right to life under Article 21. It affirmed the state's constitutional duty to develop and maintain roads under its jurisdiction. Okay. Politically, that is in polity perspective, that the constitution and fundamental rights are very important. All the fundamental rights articles are very important, and comes to in that Article 21 and public infrastructure. By framing road safety and accessibility as intrinsic to personal liberty, the court expanded the ambit of Article 21. Motorable roads enable the right to travel, that is right to travel, that is comes under Article 91 clause G, and assess essential service linking infrastructure with civil rights and also public functionality and state's responsibility. Okay, it is also, and also some related to judicial and policy development, that is pedestrian safety as Article 21 right. Okay, and also there is enforcement via technology and oversight and also accountability and negligence. Also real world examples and public interest cases you have to know. Okay, that is about recent development in Supreme Court. Okay, about Article 21. Next point, that is about recent news. Okay, that is over India reducing oil imports from Russia. There is a recent controversy. Some Indian state-owned refineries, including Indian Oil Corporation, HPCL, BPCL, and MRPL, have posed a spot market purchase of Russian crude primarily due to shrinking discount margins and potential impact of US tariffs on Russian oil. Imports announced by former President Trump. However, India's long-term contracts with Russian crude supplies remain intact. And also importantly, no government directives has mandated that the Russian oil imports. And also Trump publicly stated he was hearing that India would no longer buy Russian oil, calling it a good step, though Indian official firmly denied any changes in the policy. And coming to oil imports and trends in market, Russia has been India's top crude oil supplier since 2022, right? And also with its share rising from virtually, that is 0 to 35 to 40% of total imports. And also imports hit an 11-month high in June, okay, 2.08 million barrels per day. And also very important strategically, that analyst warns that reducing Russian oil imports could raise India's oil imports bill by $9 to 11 billion. Okay, triggering higher inflation and squeezing margins. Okay, very important. And also India's core position. Government officials consistently state that imports are not politically driven, but shaped by market availability, long-run commercial contracts, and strategic energy needs. Okay, no directives has been given seize Russian oil purchase. Okay, very important. And also some important that position government clarifies to halt the Russian imports and all. Okay, that is about the recent Russian crude oil issue and all. Next point very important, that is India UAE defense partnership. Okay, that is 13th meeting of the Joint Defense Cooperation Committee. Okay, that is convened by the secretary level of the first time in the India UAE JDCC. Okay, that is a Joint Defense Cooperation Committee, reflects elevated strategic engagement. It was jointly chaired by India's Defense Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh and UAE's Under Secretary for Defense Lieutenant General Ibrahim Nasir Alavi. Okay. Agenda is items span military training, maritime security, defense industry, collaboration, and technology development. And also, next point is that military training and service level engagement, and also maritime security cooperations, and also defense industrial technology cooperation. Okay, and also strategical contest. It is very important. There is establishment of the comprehensive strategic partnership in 2015. India UAE ties have deepened across defense, energy, diaspora, and economic domains also. And also defense cooperation was institutionalized with the JDCC in 2006, and annual staff level dialogue since 2003, and the 13th JDCC marks a new high point in this evolving strategy. Okay, very important for exam perspective, that defense diplomacy and all. Okay, that is service level interaction, army, navy, and air to air staff talk, deepen profession integration also. Okay, and maritime security, defense industry collaboration, tech and innovation, and institutional governance, regional and collaboration strategy. Okay, very important. That is about India UAE, that recent meeting. Okay. Next is about the Myanmar election. That is Myanmar's scheduled election. That is Myanmar's military junta formally ended its prolonged state of emergency in place since 2021. Coup to pave the way for election with 6 months. That is December 2025 or January 2026. Despite ending one regime, junta chief Min Aung Hlaing, okay, consolidated power. Interim president retained command of the armed force and appointed a figures of newly formed 11-member election commission chaired by himself. And also the government also enhanced draconian new electoral law criminalizing dissent or protest related to the election, with penalties ranging from long jail terms to death or disruption in or interference. All that election mechanism and legal contest, it is very important, and also some critical challenges and international response will be there. Okay. Exam perspective, that is constitutional law, that is implication of emergency rule versus democratic mandate under Myanmar's constitution is very important. And also democratization and legitimacy, that is election without opposition parties is not good, right? And also conflict and human rights, international relation, transition theory, and comparative perspective, it is very important. That is about recent announcement of election in Myanmar. Next one, last point, that is UN Women's 15th anniversary. Okay, that is in July 2025. The United Nations entity UN Women celebrated its 15th anniversary, marking a decade and a half since its inception in 2010, with a mandate to accelerate global progress on gender equality and women's empowerment. The anniversary was observed with them young with the theme, okay, young enough to transform, old enough to deliver, and also reinforcing its continued relevance in global policy. Okay, this main theme is so raising the backlash and eroding gains. Okay, that is as per March 2025 global survey revealed a 60% rise in concern regarding stagnation or reversal of gender equality in progress. Out of over 150 nations survived, nearly 1 in 4 report active backlash against women's rights. Okay, very important that in that also 15 calls to action, even women's agenda for urgent reform. Okay, 15 priority recommendation is there as a 15th anniversary. So different legal gains for all that, and also promote women's inclusion, expand social safety, address food insecurity, combat gender-based violence, close the digital divide, advance political representation, and all. Okay, such 15 points. Okay, and also events women's reach and impact, active in over 109 countries. Events women serves as a population of 4 billion women and girls, shaping policy from village to boardrooms. Okay, very important. That exam perspective, it is very important. That is even women's evolution within an event system, synergy with the Beaching Plus 30 and even SCR 1325 frameworks and all. Okay, that is about recent. That is events 15 years of milestone celebration. Okay, that is about 1st August 2025 current affairs. Thank you. Support me for further videos so that I can analyze all the topics required for UPSC and all competitive exams. Thank you.